What's up, peoples? What's up? I had to just come on. I just had to come on here. I got my little hat on. Keep my hat on too because I need a haircut. Again, it is what it is. Um, what's up, people? I had to hop on here because I needed to check in and say, hey, first of all, happy Monday. It's Monday night, February 8th. And so randomly, I was working today, and this thought crossed my mind. The a phrase that I had never heard of before. I had to move to Texas, and the first time I heard the phrase "you smell like outside," the year 2016, year of our Lord. I promise you, that's the first time heard I heard the phrase "you smell like outside." I never heard that phrase before. And it's funny because when I first heard it, we had just moved here to Houston. Um, and and Jason Leday said it to Brittany. Jason, our former son-in-law, said it to Brittany, our daughter. She walked in the house and he was like, "You smell like outside." And I was like, "Is that something you say to a person? Like, how you tell somebody they smell like outside? What does outside smell like?" I know that there's a scent. Like I know, you know, what I right. I get that it's like now I get that it smells like dirt or earthiness or leaves or trees or like dirt. I'm gonna say dirt again because that's all it smells like to me. It just smells like the earth, right? But you smell like outside. So the first time I heard it, I was like, is it the air? Is it Texas air? So it's just been something that keeps coming up, like living here, and I'm thinking, oh, it's a Texas thing. So I posted tonight. I posted a post that said, "You quote, you smell like outside. Every Black Texan, to kids, pets, or folks walking in from outside." And here's the thing, I had never heard of this. So I went on the post. I'd never heard a saying like this. I'd never heard of this until I moved to Texas. You smell like outside. Now, when I first heard this, when I first moved here, I was like, what does outside smell like? And the funny part is outside indeed has a smell. It's earthy, it's, dirt. And now when I hear it, I just crack up. So I found out tonight that there's a whole collective of people who know, what outside smell like. And not only that, they've been saying it. And it's people where I grew up. It's people from my hometown, Charlottesville, North Garden, Covesville. And they're like, oh yeah, we've been saying it the whole time. I'm like, to who? To whom? Who says this? So the comments have been hilarious. Hilarious. Tell you what, we'll share a couple of them with you here. So for the most part, people are like, yeah, of course. I say it to my kids. I grew up hearing it. And Sylvia Hester, for instance, we grew up together in North Garden. She says, I heard it so much growing up. And I told my daughter the same thing. I'm like, when did you hear this? And then people from other places, Markeitha is from Chicago. Lee Mayfield, he grew up here in Texas. He now lives in Virginia. Cassandra, she grew up in upstate New York. She lives in North Carolina now. I mean, all these people that are like, we used to say it all the time growing up. John grew up in Randallstown, Maryland. Is there dirt in Randallstown, Maryland? I mean, that's a suburb of Baltimore. Like, who smells like outside? What does outside smell like in Baltimore? The Chesapeake? Like, what does it smell like? What does outside smell like? But I got, oh my goodness, on that Facebook, there were so many amazing, amazing responses and answers from all over the country. And everybody's heard this thing. I think of outside. Let me tell you what comes to mind immediately. Two things. Number one, Big Mama them house. Big Mama and them. My Big Mama, Magnolia Harris, Faber, Virginia, Nelson County, Virginia. Big Mama, Big Daddy, Robert Harris, Big Daddy. They had an outhouse. I am smell sensitive. If it ain't pleasing to me, I'm just going to throw the whole thing away. Michelle will tell you, I am sensitive. Like we have 2 dogs. If a dog has an accident in the house and pees and poop anywhere, it can be on the furthest corner of the house. Little Langston. Langston's a little chihuahua. We've had him now for about a year and some change. And dog he's getting better. He's getting better. But he could poop on the far reaches of the furthest corner of the house. And I'd be like, somebody done pooped. Who pooped? Who peed? I could smell it. I could smell it, and it's there. And Michelle's like, I don't smell nothing. You got a sensitive nose. I do. But I ain't never had nobody tell me you smell like outside. I had heard that phrase before. But Big Mom and Big Daddy them had an outhouse. And that time period, going up to Big Mom and them house, I love Big Mom and them. I did. I used to go to Big Mom and them house. We'd have an adventure. We'd walk down to the spring, get that ice cold water. Wasn't no ice. It was just out the mountain. It was a spring. It was like a little spring that came right up the side of the mountain. And it was the coldest, most pure water you ever had in your life. You ain't had water that good before. And it was lovely. It was great until you had to pee or poop. Now, if you had to pee, you peed in a little pot. They had a pot in the kitchen, well, like next to the kitchen. And at night, if you had to pee, or in the day, anytime you had to pee, you peed in the pot. You had a pot to piss in. See how that worked? You had a pot to piss in. And the way the old folk used to clean the pot was they would dump the pot and then put hot water and pine sol. So all you smelled was old pine sol in the pot. So to this day, my wife loved cleaning with pine sol. Love it. Pine sol. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I'm triggered. PTSD, because I think about either having to squat. I've always been tall, and my legs have always, it's been like legs, neck, head. And so having to squat over the pot was like, it was way too much. It was way too much. So you like, you know, hopefully you wouldn't miss, or, you know, the pot. If you had to do number 2, you had to go out to the outhouse. There weren't many more crimes worse than having to go to the outhouse. The outhouse, in the summertime, snakes, they would have to put lime around the outhouse to deter the snakes from going into the outhouse. And then it's a smell worse than hell. It's a smell worse than anything you've ever known in your life. And then they would take and sprinkle lime, or I don't know what they would sprinkle over it. And so I think that set the tone for my hypersensitive nose. Like I just can't do with like really bad smells. So the outhouse and the smell of pine sol are two of the things that make, you know. So then, you know, and then with dogs, there's that. But for the most part, having to deal with like bad smells, don't like it. So outside, to me now, just smell like dogs been out there, and then they come in the house after them rooting around in the backyard. That's what it smelled like to me. But y'all are funny, because y'all got every answer under the sun. Dr. Hoffman Miller said, what about the smell of coming rain? Like coming rain. Rain is about to fall. Rain coming, weather coming. That's what you say, weather coming, rain. That's a smell I love. I love the smell that the sky, the earth, the world kind of get when you can tell rain is coming. And that's still a country smell. In the city, it smells a little oily. Like it just you kind of smell it, but you're also like, is that exhaust? Like, you know, it's just not the same. But whew, you smell like outside laid me out. And all these people's answers, you need to go to my Facebook page and check out what everybody said. They just said you smell fresh. That's what that's what Morinike said. She said, my mom used to say you smell fresh. I said, is that like smelling ripe? Because that's what you'd hear. I did hear that, you know, you smell ripe, especially because we were, you know, athletes, we play sports and stuff. So then you kind of get that, you know, that smell, like you got to keep yourself together. Who else? Oh, there was a good one here that says, oh, you smell like sun and fertilizer. So it's like you smell like hot shoot. Yeah, probably. Oh, wow. Christopher Anderson, he says smells kind of woodsy. Earthy, woodsy. Yeah, 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 yeah. That is outside, I guess. Got to smell like outside. I just had to share that. It was crazy. Um, some of the smells I remember though growing up that I loved. Spring of the year, the world is starting to bloom. The smell of like dogwood season growing up in Virginia. The smell of magnolias. The smell of like things blooming. I know for a lot of people, they're like pollen. Oh my God. No, I didn't have allergies like that. So that wasn't an issue. Living in Los Angeles, I used to love the smell of eucalyptus and jasmine. Like around April, May, early June. Those are the, like, you could smell jasmine flowers everywhere. And you would smell eucalyptus like in certain pockets of town. And it's just an amazing smell. But there are some places I've been where I'm like, what is that smell? And why do you always smell like that? And that's Harrisonburg, Virginia. I went to James Madison University. I love JMU. James Madison. We are the Dukes of JMU. Okay. I bleed purple, all the things, right? But anybody who went to JMU will tell you when it rained, and I don't even know if there was a dog food plant anywhere in Harrisonburg, but it always managed to smell like dog food. I don't know how you. And so if somebody come to your house when it was raining in Harrisonburg, you'd be like, you smell like outside. They probably smell like dog food. And I couldn't tell you why. Some people be like, oh, it's different. They were like turkey farms all around. I could never figure out why it smelled like dog food in Harrisonburg. But it smelled like that. I didn't like that. Yeah. Sometimes DC will get a really fishy smell because of, it's right there. But, like the Chesapeake is there, but there are a lot of places that did open seafood things. Now, I've been to Seattle quite a few times and it never smelled like that. But for some reason, DC gets that, like that hot, musty, dirty, fishy smell. And I'm like, no, we don't do this ever. So, yeah. Fellow JMUers, that dog smell, it's that dog food smell. What was that smell at JMU that smelled like dog food? I'm gonna have to ask somebody for real. It still does it. People still talk about it today. Harrisonburg will smell like dog food when it rains. That's it. That's all I'm gonna go with that. I love the smell of Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach has a wonderful smell. I don't know what they do in Virginia Beach, but the sand and the air, everything smells like, kind of smells a little coconutty, like somebody's got on excessive Hawaiian tan or something. What is it called? Hawaiian tan? Hawaiian tropic. I was gonna say Hawaiian punch. That's a drink. That ain't nothing you put on your skin. That'll do something altogether different. Hawaiian tropic. That's what it smells like to me in Virginia Beach. Yep. New York City smells like piss. I couldn't tell you why, except maybe that's why. Beautiful, beautiful place. I love the city. I love playing in New York. I used to live there for 1.2 seconds. Didn't like that so much, but that place, for some reason, love to smell like hot pee. What other places? Yeah. This is really just me ranting about how things smell. But I had never heard the phrase "you smell like outside." I thought it was a uniquely Texan thing. Clearly, I don't know much about the way the world works because my whole timeline is filled with all the ways that I've missed out on a phrase that everyone seems to have grown up with. I grew up in the mountains in Virginia. I grew up in it was considered a village. It's still on the books. Colesville, Virginia is considered a village. It's not a town. It's not a city. It's a village. And it was the home of my tribe. And I have no memory of anyone saying, you smell like outside. We just grew up in the mountains. Maybe we're always outside. But anyway, that's all I got tonight. I'm just ranting a bit. I hope y'all are having a good night. I'm going to go take a hot bath. So I don't smell like outside, I guess. All right. Have a great evening. Night. Bye.